Taiwan Ronell Lawson, born November 3, 1987. There's many reasons a player's growth can be stunted, whether it's injury, their on-court play, politics, and in many cases a self-destructive attitude and lack of awareness. Ty Lawson is one of, if not the best point guard I've ever seen at the famed North Carolina, and is still highly regarded for his NCAA tournament run in 2008-2009. He was selected in the first round by the Minnesota Timberwolves and then immediately traded to the Denver Nuggets and began as Chauncey Billups' backup. He was fast, strong, and although his shooting form wasn't the most textbook-looking stroke, he was actually a very good shooter in the NBA. Fortunately for Lawson, his growth stunts weren't the result of his on-court play and allowed him to secure the bag, as they say. At the same time, it's unfortunate he lost his borderline all-star career to things many feel he could control. Let's talk about it. Salute to Rodriguez Victor for this request. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth. Let's get it, man. Ty Lawson is a 5'11" Maryland native and attended Bishop McNamara High School before transferring to Oak Hill Academy in Virginia, where he became a McDonald's All-American and Jordan Brand Classic participant. He was the #1 ranked point guard in the country, ahead of a handful of point guards that are still in the NBA today, and the 7th ranked prospect overall, where he averaged 23.8 points, 9.1 assists, and 5 steals. As the #1 rated point guard, as you can imagine, he was recruited by every top school in the country, but decided to attend North Carolina because of the incoming and pre-existing roster the team would have, including Tyler Hansborough, Wayne Ellington, Danny Green, and Brandon Wright. As a freshman, he took his team to the Elite Eight, where they were eliminated by a Jeff Green, Roy Hibbert-led Georgetown Hoya team. And then it began. Stunt number 1, bad decisions. The thing about decisions that you need to learn as a basketball player is that they all affect your future in one way or the other. You not getting up to go work out on your own, you attending the party instead of getting some rest, you not attending class, failing and putting your coaches in a compromising position, and what you do off the floor, on or off campus. They all can be a detriment if not handled right, and at the very least can blur the lines to how you make future decisions. Lawson, from the outside looking in, always seemed like a heady point guard that was very smart and made all the right decisions on the floor. Off the floor, he was the complete opposite. Over his career, it seems he couldn't keep himself out of officers' flashlights asking him if he was okay tonight. "I saw you swerving there, buddy, and riding slow like the Macy's Day Parade. Decided to stop you and, make sure no bodies are in the trunk, you know what I mean?"
Sorry, officer, I didn't know I couldn't do that. I was fucking shocked.
His first real bad decision came following his freshman season in May, when he decided it was a good idea to speed down the highway, driving without a license, and following being pulled over and cited for the infractions, he didn't show up to his court date later that year, and subsequently had his license taken away. A result that would affect his future run-ins with the law. The issue was seemingly resolved behind the scenes, and Lawson returned to Carolina ready to take his team past the expectations placed on them in his sophomore season. His field goals, free throw shooting, three-point shooting, and points all increased. His team was rated #1 coming into the season and didn't disappoint, winning their first 18 games. They were again a #1 seed heading into the tournament, where they made it to the Final Four and were defeated by Kansas. His decision-making would immediately rear its head after failing to win it all. But this next decision would be one he just couldn't quote-unquote handle behind the scenes and shake off as easy as he may have thought. Stunt number 2, alcohol abuse.
Lawson is very lucky because he has now gotten 4 DUIs. Instead of jail time, Lawson will do 1 year of probation, and he also has to perform 24 hours of community service.
This next stunt in Lawson's basketball growth is his biggest and one in life in general. I hope he finds a way to control before things get completely out of hand. Alcohol is a very tricky thing, and where it takes you away from whatever's going on, makes you feel good in the moment, but can live as the rug in your skeleton closet with you forever. The most accessible drug, if you will, that is sold on every corner at every gas stop, yet they want you to not drink it while driving. It has the right mixture of impairing you just enough where you forget your problems and can also operate, or at least think you can operate, motor vehicles. After losing to Kansas, Lawson was pulled over again and arrested for being behind the wheel, under the influence of alcohol, driving with a suspended or revoked license, and a noise ordinance for his music being too loud. This arrest would cause NBA teams to have second thoughts about Lawson, all but one who said they would have still taken him that year in the first round, the Denver Nuggets. Without a guarantee and positive feedback from teams, mainly because they didn't trust the decisions he made off the floor, Lawson decided to return to school for his junior season. An immediate growth stunt, seeing as something like that could reroute you back to school, having to risk another year in college when you could have been playing right then. It wasn't all bad for Ty. His team actually got better in his junior year and took it all the way to winning the NCAA tournament. He stole the ball 8 times in that game as the Tar Heels defeated Michigan State. They were also ACC regular season champions, going 27-3 for the season. He finished averaging 16.6 points a game, 6.6 assists a game, and 3 rebounds. His stock was rising, and for a player coming back to school, he couldn't have made a better choice. But the alcohol abuse didn't go away. It was only subsided with Lawson's new focus of trying to win games and at least make it to your first big contract. On January 2013, he was arrested again for failing to appear in court for his DUI charges. The abuse continued, with him allegedly being under the influence when he harassed and attacked his pregnant girlfriend, who allegedly approached him about believed infidelity. He was arrested again and taken away from the home, believed to be intoxicated. Unfortunate, but this wouldn't be the last we'd see of his alcohol problems. Stunt number 3, the feather that sunk the rhino. As we all know, the worst thing that can happen to you after something unfortunate happens is for that unfortunate thing to happen again, and again, and again. This seems to be the story of Lawson's career. He just couldn't get a hold of his alcohol addiction, and to make matters worse, it seemed he still doesn't realize that that's exactly what it is. By the 2013-14 season, Lawson was a star for the Denver Nuggets, with back-to-back seasons prior posting 16 points a game and 6 assists a game. In 2013-14 is where he really broke out and upped those averages to 17.6 points a game and 8.8 assists. All-star level numbers, ones that would continue in his next and final season with the Nuggets, where he averaged 16 and 9 and played in 75 games. In January 2015, while going for a midnight drive of some sorts, he was pulled over for doing 60 and a 35. My guy, a 60 and a 35, bro? Do you know how careless you have to be to think that's okay, G? He was pulled over, arrested, and the officer reported his eyes were bloodshot and watery, and he was stumbling and fumbling to have a conversation and stand still. He was jailed and admitted to another outstanding warrant for DUI in Missouri. This nigga snitched on himself.
I'm not driving. Chip is driving, and he's driving a little crazy. He's been drinking.
He was then sent to a rehab facility in which he stated after completing it, "I still honestly don't think I would have had to go here if it wasn't court ordered. I just made 2 dumb mistakes." Obviously a person that's out of touch with reality and refuses to understand the weight of his actions. Denver certainly did. On July 14th, he was arrested for DUI again in the same exact circumstances. Tired of his off-court troubles, the team decided 6 days later to trade the borderline all-star to the Houston Rockets. Nuggets president stated that Lawson was a chronic alcohol abuser and even went as far as to say he would show up to practices drunk and it would be easy to smell it on him. In his lone season with the team, Lawson would get suspended for a total of 5 games due to the DUI arrest and lost more than $500,000. The team decided to buy him out and make him a free agent. He averaged 5 points and 3 assists a game in 22 minutes. He would go on to play in Indiana, Sacramento, China, Washington, and back to China, as 2018 was the last the NBA would see of Ty Lawson. His career lasted 9 seasons, and some would say a huge disappointment, especially because he had so much talent and was so good on the floor when he was focused on basketball. But he couldn't control his addiction, and it cost him his career. All in all, Ty Lawson still managed to make a great deal of money for himself through basketball, was a winner in college, and played multiple years as a pro, so he still has that. But he has to get his alcohol abuse under control, and I hope he has some good people in his corner to help. Much respect to him, but for these reasons, his growth was stunted. It's your boy JC Stunted Growth, and I'm out.